as you already know, the computer runs entirely on data. Everything about the computer is data. The type of data you pass into the computer actually determines the type of output that you get. So in this session, we are going to explain the different type of data types that we have when we are programming. So at a beginner's level, there are 4 main data types. The first one is a string. The second one is an integer. The fourth one is a float, and the first one is a string, second one integer, third one float, and fourth one boolean. So in a bit, we are going to explain what each of these data type is. So to do that, we are going to dive right into our text editor. So now, data type, as I've explained, these are the different type of data that we can work with. So the first of all, let's talk about string. So now I'm going to create a variable. So remember, the main use of variable is to save data. So we are going to be saving different type of data using variables. So I'm going to just name this variable string. So I'm just going to go with str. So I'm going to say is equals to, I'm going to assign it. So now a string is a collection of characters that is enclosed with quotation marks. It can be a single quote or a double quote, any quote of your choice. Just know that a string is any character that you see. As far as it's inside quotes, it is a string. It can be symbols, it can be numbers, it can be alphabets, it can be anything. As far as it is inside the quote, it is a string. So a string is any character, any collection of character that is inside a string. That is inside the quote, rather, sorry. So now so I have my quote, so I can add anything. Just like in the when we talked about variables, we assigned something like Emmanuel. So Emmanuel is a string because of it is enclosed in quotes. So get the idea, anything that is enclosed in quotes is a string. Any collection of characters, remember, collection of characters that is enclosed in quote, it is a string. So now this is how we create string. So now the next one, let's talk about integer. So I'm going to create another variable, I'll name it int. So int, we are talking about any number, any whole number from 1 to wherever you can count to. As far as it is a number, it is an integer. Now notice something, integer we don't need to quote it, they don't need to put it inside quote because they are numbers. We are just working with numbers. So integer, whenever we talk about integer, we are talking about whole numbers, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 till wherever you can count to. That is what integer is. So let's talk about floats. So I'm going to say equals to, so a float is any number with a decimal point. So any number you can think about as far as there's a decimal point, remember to add your period. So any number you can think about as far as there's a decimal point there, it is a float. So this is a float. A float is any number with a decimal point. So now the next one we'll talk about is the boolean. So I'll say bool, which is going to be equals to. So now a boolean has only 2 possible values. It's either a boolean is true or a boolean is false. So we can write true So it's either a boolean is true. So a boolean can have only 2 possible values. It's either it is true or it is false. True or false. So that is practically what a boolean is. So these are the 4 main data types that we have. We have string, which is any collection of characters that is enclosed in quotes. Then we have integer, which is any whole number counting from 1 to wherever you can count to. We have float, which is any number with a decimal point. We have boolean, which is either true or false. So these are the four main data types that we have when we are programming, when we are working with our programs, or when we are working with PHP. So we are going to dive deeper into each of these data type. So when we talk about operators, we are kind of referring to any symbol that performs a function. It is not just limited to only symbols. It can be other things like a word, but it is mostly symbols. So things like addition, multiplication, division, all of these things are operators that are used to perform a function. Something like the addition sign, which is the plus. The plus performs a function, and the function is to return the sum of whatever operation is actually passed to it. So that is what the plus is actually used for. We have something like the minus, the division. So in this section of this course, we are going to be talking about the different type of operators we have and how we can use them. So there are four main type of operators. We have the assignment operator, the arithmetic operator, the comparison operator, and the logical operator. These are the four main type of operators that we have. So in a bit, we are going to explain what each of them is and how to use them. So now so without further delay, let's jump right into our text editor and start writing codes. So so the first one we're going to talk about is the assignment operator. We have actually been using the assignment operator for quite a while. The assignment operator is mostly used to assign a value to a variable. That is the work of the assignment operator, to assign a value to the variable. So we've seen the assignment operator, which is the equals to. So right now, let's kind of create a variable. So I'm going to create a variable num1, and I'm going to set it equals to. So now this equals to is the assignment operator. It sets something equals to. So I'm going to set num1 to 7. So now the work of the assignment operator is it has given num1 a value, and the value of num1 is what? 7. So I misspelled this. So now remember to add your column. So let's kind of create another variable, because we are going to use the variable to explain more the remaining operators. So I'm going to name num2. So operators does not only work on numbers, but I'm going to use numbers to like display the work of each of them, just so that you kind of understand it well. But operators, and they don't only work on numbers. Something like the assignment operator, we can assign string, we can assign boolean, we can assign floats to variables. So you understand. So operators don't really work on numbers. So that's why you don't just get confused, because I'm using only numbers. So so now we've talked about the assignment operator. We've seen the work of the assignment, which is the assigned value to a variable. So now the next one we'll talk about is the arithmetic operator. So the arithmetic operators that perform mathematical tasks, something like the addition, multiplication, division, all of these things are arithmetic operators. So we are going to see like a few of the arithmetic operators so that we can understand how they actually work. So now we are not going to go through all of them. When we get to the section number, we have another section in this course named number. We will talk more about the arithmetic operators, because of whenever we kind of talk about mathematical operations, we are mostly talking about numbers, and it's very important that you learn how to actually use the arithmetic operator, because it is mainly used to work with numbers, even though it can still be used to work with other data type, but it is mainly for numbers. So now let's start. So now I'm going to echo something to our screen. So now the first arithmetic operator we'll test is the addition. So we kind of say num1 plus num2 I put my period, sorry, or you can call it the exponential. So you see we have 12, that is the value of 7 plus 5. So we have subtraction, which is supposed to give the difference. We have multiplication, which is supposed to give the product. We have division, we have exponential. We have exponential. So you see, my advice is that you take your time, go over the different type of arithmetic operators we have, learn how to use them, because you're going to be working with numbers most times when you're kind of creating programs. So you need to learn how to work with them. So now the next operator we'll talk about is the comparison operator. So now the comparison operator is mostly used to not mostly, it is like the only function. It is used to compare between two or more variables, or between two or more values or data. So now, for example, something like the less than, the equals to, the greater than or equals to, the less than or equal to, the not equal to, all of these things are comparison operator. This comparison operator, they ask a question and they can only return a boolean value. It's either it is true or false. So now the question they ask we can only give two possible outputs, as I told you, which is that true or false, where one is refers to true and false, and 0 refers to false. So now let's kind of try using the comparison operator. So the first comparison operator that we'll talk about is the less than. So as I told you, the comparison operator asks a question. So now this line is like, is num1 less than num2? So right now we already know that num1 is 7 and num2 is 5. So this should give us false, because of num1 is not less than num2. So when I run this, I'm supposed to see 0 meaning it is false. So now I'm not seeing anything on my screen because of that is 0. That is same thing as 0. So if I should change this to greater than, I should see 1 on my screen. So right now I have 1 because of this is true. So now I can use the less than or equal to. So this is the less than or equal to. So this is supposed to give me 0 because it is not less than, neither is it equals to. We have the greater than or equals to. So because of it is greater than, even though it's not equals to, it's going to return true, which is the one we see there. So now we have the equals to. Now don't let this equals to confuse you with this equals to. This equals to is a double equals to. That's the one we use for comparison. The comparison equals to is a double equals to. So when we reload this, it's supposed to give us false because of 7 is definitely not equals to 5. So we have the not equals to. So the not equals to, we assign an exclamation mark before the equals to, and then when we run it, so we should see true because of 7 is not equals to 5. So these are the 6 main comparison operators that we have: less than or equal to, greater than or equals to, not equals to. So these are the 6 main operators that we have, the 6 main arithmetic operators that we have. So now let's talk about the logical operator. So the logical operator are mostly used to state logic. They are mostly used to state some, like say, standard or something like that. So now let's kind of see what the logical operator looks like. So now there are 4 main, or rather 3 main logical operators. We have the AND operator, we have the OR operator, and we have the NOT operator. So these are the 3 main logical operators that we have. So now let's see the AND. So now, as I told you, the logical operator state logic. They don't intentionally return any value, but they state the logic for how the value is meant to be returned. So now I have this one. Now I have this line. I said I'm asking if num1 is not equal to num2. You already know that this is going to return true now. So maybe I want to state like a different logic. I can put AND. So the AND is the ampersand into 2. So we say AND num1 less than num2. So now we already know that num1 is not equals to num2, but now me adding and num1 less than num2, so now this is going to return false, because for this to be true, num1 have to not be equals to num2, and num1 also has to be less than num2. So as you already know, num1 is 7 and num2 is 5, so num1 is not less than num2, so we should get nothing, which is 0. So you see what the AND operator did there. For this thing to return true, both of them had to be true. The 2 conditions that were passed into it has to be true. So now let's talk about the OR. So I'll copy this line. So the OR is also very simple to use, just like saying Emeka or Ebuka should go to the market, meaning that one of them can actually go to the market. So now in this scenario, this will return true because of num1 is not less than num2, even though it is num1 is not equal to num2, even though it is less than num2. So so it's going to return true. So when I save this and when I run it, so I should see 1 there. So I have 1 there. So yeah, so this is the logical operator. So we have the NOT. The NOT, we have actually been using the NOT, which is this NOT. There is no much to talk about the NOT. So the NOT is just used to set a condition if this is not equals to this. When you don't know what you're actually comparing with, most times when I use the NOT operator is when what I'm comparing to is not something I have control over. Maybe the users are supposed to actually input it, so sometimes I might not really know what the users will actually input. So now I might just use that NOT to just classify for any scenario, and as far as it's not equals to the parameter I have set, it should not return true. So now, so let's continue. So we are done talking about operator. We've talked about the assignment, the arithmetic, the comparison, and the logical. So in a bit we'll learn how to use them more and